Welcome to That's Good Broncos. I am Brandon Perna, and if you didn't already know, Peyton Manning was accused on Saturday, December 26th, the day after Christmas, of taking HGH human growth hormones in 2011 while recovering from his 4 neck surgeries by this man, Charlie Sly. At the time of discovering this news, I was trying to enjoy a giant burrito covered in green chili, but had a hard time finishing it because the story made me
sick. Disgusted.
That's right. I wasted some pretty fucking good green chili because of this. That's good, Broncos. The most shocking thing about this entire situation is that I learned my hero, Peyton Manning, has terrible taste in daytime television.
I did all 35 days for an hour treatment. Watched Hoda and Kathy Lee during my treatment because I was there during normal business hours.
Why, Peyton? You could have watched one of 9 Steve Harvey shows, or you could have watched HGTV. Fixer Upper's pretty good. Fixer Upper's very good. Hi, Chip and Joanna. The supposed link between Manning and H.G.H. was presented in a documentary titled The Dark Side, which aired on Al Jazeera America. You can watch the documentary yourself on YouTube, and I suggest that you do, so you can form your own opinion. But if you want to just listen to my opinion, which is probably the right opinion, let's move on, because I watched it, analyzed it, learned from it, and this is what you need to know. Liam Collins, a former British hurdler, one of the best in the world at one time, who was later busted for swindling people out of money for a property scheme he and his investment partner David Bone devised, went undercover in the documentary searching for illegal substances, PEDs, to help him make a comeback as a hurdler. He isn't really trying to make a comeback as a hurdler, but that's the story he used to expose this underground performance-enhancing drug world for Al Jazeera. Most of the documentary consists of hidden camera footage of Liam talking with doctors or pseudo-doctors / pharmacists who are willing to supply him with a candy store helping of performance-enhancing drugs. During his undercover stint, he is put in touch with Charlie Sly, a Texas-based pharmacist who supplies some pro athletes with PEDs. He claims to have supplied NFL players such as Dustin Keller, Peyton Manning, Mike Neal, Clay Matthews, James Harrison, and Julius Peppers with varying forms of drugs. At one point, he said he met with half of the Packers team. What do you think of that, Green Bay? He also claimed that he has supplied Mike Tyson with PEDs, which is strange because Tyson hasn't boxed for roughly 10 years. But with this recent video surfacing of Mike Tyson, I can see why he might want some HGH, human balance help. Now, the only evidence captured in this documentary that can be substantiated is that Sly probably supplied Major League Baseball player Taylor Teagarden, who actually appeared in the documentary and admitted to using Delta-2, a steroid Sly supplies. Other than that hard evidence, all you have is Charlie Sly bragging about what pro athletes he's supposedly supplied banned substances to.
Do you know who Clay Matthews is?
Yeah.
I just got a text from him.
The Manning angle is teased and saved until the end of the film, and the only evidence they have connecting Manning to HGH is Charlie Sly saying he or the Geyer Institute mailed HGH to Peyton Manning's wife, Ashley Manning, in 2011. He also briefly mentioned that Manning and Ashley would come to the Geyer Institute in Indianapolis after hours to receive IV HGH treatment.
I did all 35 days for an hour treatment. Watched Hoda and Kathy Lee during my treatment because I was there during normal business hours.
The Geyer Institute is a place Manning did attend for treatment for 35 days during his recovery under the direction of the Indianapolis Colts team doctors and trainers. Finally, Charlie Sly has retracted his statements from the documentary and has since stated that
the statements on any recordings or communications that Al Jazeera plans to air are absolutely false and incorrect. To be clear, I am recanting any such statements, and there is no truth to any statement of mine that Al Jazeera plans to air.
There's a lot to digest here, and I personally do not think this entire documentary is complete bullshit. I think we all know professional athletes will do whatever it takes to stay competitive and find that edge regardless of the consequences. What I really learned from the dark side is that the underground performance-enhancing drug ring is a big medical business, and athletes' names are what the distributors use to sell their drugs to potential clients. They build credibility the same way sports agents do by representing star athletes. Liam Collins is the potential client in this documentary, and what I found disturbing is the willingness for these distributors to name drop in order to make money off of Collins as a PED client. At one point, a company called ProMed, which supposedly works with NFL players who do not trust their team doctors, attempted to recruit Liam Collins so that he could wrangle European soccer players as clients for ProMed.
There's high-level sportsmen, usually through the NFL in the US. That's kind of a market that we're going after.
This PED market is a crazy business, and for those of you who were wondering, I am in no way, shape, or form involved with ProMed.
I'm good, thank you.
Good, nice to meet you. I'm Brandon.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
The dark side also pointed out that according to the NFLPA, 78% of NFL players do not trust their team doctors. Read Nate Jackson's book, Slow Getting Up, and you will understand why players do not always trust the team doctors. On one occasion, Charlie Sly claimed that Clay Matthews texted him asking for Toradol.
He wants Toradol, like in an oral form.
If you don't know, Toradol is a non-banned substance commonly used in the NFL, which has extremely dangerous long-term effects on the body, specifically organs like the kidneys.
What's the benefit of Toradol?
It's a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Used to manage pain, typically right before NFL games. Nate Jackson discusses it at length in his book, but the NFL is now supposedly limiting the amount it distributes to its players, which may be a big reason a guy like Matthews would have to go an alternate route to get more of the substance. Again, we don't know if Sly was lying about Matthews, but I think it's conceivable that a guy like Clay would try to get more of the thing that helps him not feel the excruciating pain from the injuries that coincide with playing in NFL football games every week. Peyton Manning was interviewed by ESPN on Sunday, and he was more angry than any of us have ever really seen him.
It's completely fabricated, complete trash, garbage. There's some more adjectives I'd like to be able to use.
Don't worry, Peyton. I'll say what you couldn't say on ESPN. Fuck Al Jazeera for not following the basic principles of good journalism in this story, like having 2 confirmed sources who can provide evidence that Manning used H.G.H. Fuck Charlie Sly, if that is your real name, for saying these things and then saying you didn't say these things. Fuck the Huffington Post for blasting this on their front page without checking the facts surrounding Peyton Manning, and double fuck any of the assholes involved for exposing Ashley Madison user records. Wait, forgive me, for exposing Ashley Manning's medical records, because now everyone knows she probably did receive some sort of H.G.H. treatment to help her with her pregnancy. My conclusion is that Peyton Manning was used as a selling tool in this documentary, and I believe he did not use H.G.H. at any point. The producer of The Dark Side should be ashamed of the way these unsubstantiated claims about Manning were presented. Essentially, they Fox News'd Peyton Manning. I'm not a doctor, and I can't tell you that Ashley Manning used the H.G.H. treatment for fertility or to help her recover from a pregnancy where she had twins, but I can say it's none of our fucking business, and this documentary should have explored these areas or at least presented them as possible truths. Peyton Manning's reaction in this video is enough to convince me that he's not lying. Sure, as a Broncos fan, I inherently want to be on Peyton Manning's side, but I also don't care if he did use H.G.H. to recover from 4 neck surgeries. To me, that's no different than a player taking a powerful painkiller to play through an injury. What I don't trust is Charlie Sly's retraction video.
And that Al Jazeera plans to air a program about them. Any recordings of me were made without my knowledge or consent.
He's clearly just reading a statement in an attempt to cover his ass. It does not feel genuine like Manning's video. In fact, it feels a little more like this video.
I didn't, have any
I didn't alter the ball in any way.
Just kidding, Patriots fans. Or am I? That's what's really sad about this poorly reported story. There are a lot of people out there who want it to be true. The same way I wanted Deflategate to be true. I wanted Tom Brady to crash and burn, but that's because I believe he is evil. Who on earth could possibly think that Peyton Manning is evil? How could you develop negative feelings for that angel of a man? Now, if you're still with me, I can do something that no other media outlet has the brains or balls to do. I can present you with the truth, because as an individual crime solver who answers to no one, I have the power and freedom to tell the truth. I have several working theories about this bullshit report. First, why the fuck would anyone ever trust a guy named Charlie Sly? The word sly means having or showing a cunning and deceitful nature. His last name might as well have been Liar Liar Pants on Fire. Charlie Slick, Charlie Bullshit, any would work. In the documentary, the narrator, who by the way has a terrible voice for narration, states that while talking with Sly, they prompt him with several questions about pro athletes. If he's trying to solidify Collins as a client and Collins keeps asking him to talk about other athletes who use, do you think he might embellish to sell Collins? Have you ever known a good salesman who isn't at least half full of shit? Yeah, he might exaggerate a little bit, that sly devil. There's also the very distinct possibility that this could be the work of Charlie Fry. Charlie Fry? Charlie Sly? Fry, still angry about his ineffective NFL career, has taken on a new identity as a pharmacist with the sole purpose of tarnishing the names of quarterbacks better than him. His list is long, and he started at the very top. Is it a coincidence that Fry's career ended in 2010 and that he claimed he sent Peyton Manning's wife H.G.H. in 2011? That's just enough time to change from NFL quarterback to undercover pharmacist with dark intentions. Wait, this just in. With my breaking story about Charlie Fry, I have been asked to produce the next documentary for Al Jazeera. Congratulations to me! We will see where this story eventually leads, but I think it's clear that they needed a big name to sell this incomplete documentary. They baited the line and we all bit pretty fucking hard. It appears that Manning's involvement is hogwash. His legal treatments from the Geyer Institute have been backed by the Indianapolis Colts, and when Sly talked about sending H.G.H. to Manning's wife, it felt like he was exaggerating.
And all the time we would be sending Ashley Manning drugs, like growth hormone, all the time, everywhere. Florida.
You sent it to them everywhere?
We're sending it everywhere.
Where else?
We'd go to Florida.
So by everywhere, you just mean Florida.
Florida.
And Sly's connection to Manning isn't nearly as substantial as it is to the other athletes mentioned in the dark side. In fact, his connection to Manning may be completely concocted. Here's what I want to leave you with. Let's pretend for a second that this allegation is true and that Manning used HGH supplements to help him recover from 4 neck surgeries so he could play football again. What's wrong with that? Why would we or the NFL care what he used to heal during a year where he did not play a single down of football, especially if it was out of his system by the time he returned? What would be more dangerous, using the HGH to heal or actually playing NFL football? Concussions. I think you know the answer. What's wrong with a man doing everything he can medically to heal so he can get back to playing the game he loves and providing for his family? I go back to the Derek Wolfe suspension for his PED violation earlier this season. I don't think PED cases are black and white, and I believe that Derek Wolfe, at the very second he suffered a spinal injury, should have been allowed to put whatever the fuck he wanted into his body. The NFL will allow players to take a plethora of prescription drugs, like pills, which killed roughly 8,000 more people last year in the United States than illicit drugs like heroin, and receive Toradol injections so they can play in dangerous football games with severe injuries. Why the fuck do they believe they can regulate what else players put into their body? Pills! Okay. Pills are good! Pills are good! Which auto-response answer do you want? It's for safety or it's for a level playing field? Safety can be thrown out the window. The NFL will never be safe, and the only true equalizer the NFL has is the salary cap. That's all it needs to remain the most interesting sport to watch, because there's no such thing as a level playing field. Life is not a level playing field. And the imbalance of player ability will always be the reason we watch any given sport. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here about performance-enhancing drugs and pain medications and all the things players take? Broncos safety David Bruton played nearly an entire game with a broken fibula. I don't know what treatment he received before the game, but I would bet my life savings he took an injection of Toradol or some other powerful pain-managing supplement to cope with the pain of his prior knee injury, which was a sprain or bone bruise, which means he probably would not have continued playing with a broken leg had he not already had pain-managing medication in his body. That's an assumption, and maybe he took nothing. I don't know. I'm willing to admit when I don't know something. There is no second source connecting Peyton Manning to HGH, which is important. Charlie Sly is the only person who has said Manning has taken the supplement. And Sly has stated that he fabricated that story, which means Al Jazeera now has 0 sources making that claim, or 0 evidence suggesting Manning has ever taken HGH. They have no conclusive evidence to prove that fact. Basically, this is like me saying I saw Tom Brady eating live puppies in 2014 to help him stay young forever, and that I'm a good source of information because I worked at a pet store. And then I eventually said I made that all up. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Make sure you subscribe here to the Peyton Manning is Always Innocent show, where Brandon Perna will defend him until Brandon Perna is dead. Sorry for talking about myself in third person. Follow me on Twitter at Brandon Perna. There, I said my name again. Ooh, is that an ego or what? Hope you enjoyed this video. Share it to spread the truth. I'm a truth teller. What can I say?